Hey everybody, I am here in the danger zone in the Texas Panhandle, where we currently have a risk for severe weather today. The moderate risk here has been painted in the Texas Panhandle. Storm forecast for moderate risk here. And I am just on the eastern end of this moderate risk today, right now, for the moment, in Shamrock, Texas. And I expect things to get pretty nasty here later today, this afternoon, early afternoon, into the mid-afternoon. Here's the risk area painted by the National Weather Service, SPC. Here it is in the My Radar app. But if we go over here to the SPC, take a look at this, dig in a little deeper, we can see this moderate risk is in place for tornadoes with a 15% hatched area here in the Texas Panhandle, surrounded by a 10% hatched and a 5% and then 2%. So chance for tornadoes all the way down from Mexico-Texas border all the way into extreme southwest Kansas. And we look at the wind. So there's wind, chance for wind here. And of course, big time hail here, big hail, 30% hatched hail as well. So the main two things to be on the lookout for today will be that big hail and possibly large tornadoes. And if we scroll down here, we'll probably see them talking about the National Weather Service, talking about window for supercells to produce long track, strong tornadoes, and very large hail across the east, central, southeast Texas Panhandle. So that's what's in store for today. I am chasing here. I'll make my way a little bit to the west, a little bit here later on. Just kind of enjoying the downtime now in my Holiday Inn Express coffee as I prepare my gear, pulling footage, charging things up, getting everything ready to go, eating a little breakfast, a little yogurt. I already ate my Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich here. And currently it's a little rainy, cloudy, kind of gross looking out there. Here in Shamrock, Texas, there's the Subaru down there looking fine. So if we, let's go take a look at some weather models now. We'll look at the HRRR. Where are we at? Where's it at here? Here we go. So the current run is 13Z run right now. And if we skip ahead here to 20Z, you see these first supercells are going to start to form just to the west of Amarillo, the Amarillo area. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 string of supercells here starts firing. Progress to the next hour, 21Z, and these storms really ramp up all the way from south of Amarillo. So like Tulia, this is like Tulia, Texas area here. This is like the Amarillo area here. And we're getting up into Dalhart and even up here into the Oklahoma Panhandle, extreme southeast Colorado. But that moderate risk is painted here. Actually, it's more like painted in here. And if we skip ahead here, we see things really start ramping up at 22Z. We got mature supercell here, probably producing a tornado at this time. And these storms will progress. Another round will fire back to the west of those storms later in the evening for a second round of storms. Less potent. This will quickly turn into a line. So the main storms will be this window of supercells here. 2 or 3 hour window of supercells here. Discrete supercells. Be looking for tornadoes on these supercells. Probably end up in extreme western Oklahoma before everything's said and done tonight. And then everything lines out, gets messy here as the night progresses. Instability wanes. Storms leave the good air. But we do have strong southerly flow now, southeasterly flow, bringing in that moisture. If we look at a sounding here, we can see that we will... Oh, that sounding didn't work. No, that one didn't work either. Let me refresh the page here. We'll look just ahead of the sounding. No, look at. Oops, your sounding failed to load. We may be missing data for this time and location. Perhaps our server had a hiccup. Click here to try again. Not working. Well, I wanted to show you. Here, let's go to maybe the previous hour works. Previous hours run, the 12Z run of the HRRR. No. All right, well, they're obviously having some issues right now. But earlier I was looking at it, and we had calling for dew points in the lower 60s, which is a crazy amount of moisture for March. You know, usually here in the Texas Panhandle, you're looking at 50 Fahrenheit dew points if you're on a good day, and you'll get storms out of that. 60s here in the Texas Panhandle usually is reserved more for like the late April, May time frame. So to get this much moisture in March, it's pretty crazy. You see, this is all these storms are forming because of this big cutoff low that's forming over Colorado. It's drifted its way to the northwest towards Colorado, and it's going to hammer the Colorado area with that big snowstorm. Upslope snow piling up as that upper level, that low rotates around, brings those winds up against the Rocky Mountains. They hit the mountains and rise, and then you get snow that dumps as that air cools. So when you get a big, severe, winter event just to the north here with 60 dews here in the Texas Panhandle, you're going to get a big, severe day as well, balance everything out. I initially was thinking about going to go chase the snowstorm after the severe, but I don't know now. I might. It's not looking as big of a snow event. So I might stick with the severe, multiple days of severe coming up here. There's another opportunity for severe. Here, let's look at what the SPC is showing for tomorrow. We come back here to the convective outlooks. You can see tomorrow there's another severe event, not quite as big. Little 5% tornado risk there in Missouri and western Mississippi, extreme southwestern Tennessee. I may end up bailing on the winter storm then and just tracking this down. I want to go to Memphis anyway again because there's a really nice bonsai shop there that I would like to go back to. But we'll see. I'm gonna one thing at a time. I'm gonna track down the tornadoes today, hopefully with this system here. And then at the end of the day, I'll make the call whether I grind it back to whether I grind it back to Denver for the winter event or follow the system east for tomorrow's severe event. And then next week, it looks like there's on Tuesday or Wednesday, there'll be some Dixie storm chasing potential. Go back to the radar here. We can see there's already some severe storms here in eastern New Mexico, northwest of Amarillo, probably elevated storms, so no severe risk yet. And you can see they're north of this front here. So they're going to be elevated storms because they're north of this front. But this front should become a focus. This front should lift to the north today through the day as more warm air advects in to the approaching low. That warm front should lift, and then storms should fire on that front and make their way to the northeast here. And I'm on that eastern extent of the moderate risk at the moment, east of Amarillo in Shamrock, Texas. But I will make my way back to the west here a little bit later here. I don't have far to go, so I'm just going to enjoy a little downtime here in the Holiday Inn Express. Take a shower, drink some coffee, get all my gear all charged up, ready to go. Got more gear back here. Get all my gear charged up, ready to go, and I'll be live streaming today through the day. I'm also live streaming on Facebook, so if you don't follow me on Facebook, you should follow me there. As if I'm not streaming here, I'll probably be streaming on Facebook. And then also, I'll be tweeting a lot, so I'll tweet throughout the day. So that's a good spot to follow me, at Aaron J. Jack on Twitter. You can follow me there and get live tweets. And then I live stream on Facebook and YouTube periodically. So that's the plan today. Chase tornadoes, track down tornadoes here in the moderate risk Texas Panhandle. Big time severe threat, tornado threat today. Could be a day to remember. So make sure you're watching those watches and those warnings. Pay attention to the warnings on your phone. Get the My Radar weather app here, and you can get automated alerts will come through when you are in a warning box or when watches are issued and stuff. I'm sure there'll be tornado watches issued here probably early. On a day like today, they'll probably be issuing a tornado watch by like noon. So, and what time is it? It's already almost 9 a.m. So probably in the next few hours, we'll already have a tornado watch coming out, I would suspect. In fact, we can see what the SPC is thinking right now. If there's any, there's already a meso discussion here. Isolated threat for large hail will develop this morning. Watch issuance appears unlikely. Just like I was saying, they're not going to really be severe elevated storms because they're north of the front. There you go. Showing an elevated instability gradient, saying southwest. So the instability layer that these storms are firing, it's elevated. So they're firing in that elevated instability. And what we're looking for is, here, let's go back to today where they're talking about what the threat looks like. So here's what I was saying earlier. There'll be a few hour window for a couple of supercells to produce long track, strong tornadoes and very large hail across the east, central, southeast Texas Panhandle. So that's the target for today, is to target those long track supercells that are potentially producing long track, large, strong tornadoes. So not like the tornado yesterday. There was a couple tornadoes yesterday near Lubbock. I was a little late getting to those. I was punching through the supercells rains as those tornadoes are happening. So those tornadoes were weak, a little weak tornado, a little wispy thing, but today would be a different story. If anything happens like that today, it'll likely be strong tornadoes, potentially strong and long track tornadoes, tracking through this zone as I showed in the models earlier. You'll get these supercells marching across the Texas Panhandle today, starting at around 20Z. First round, long tracks, strong long track supercells. And then at 00Z, we get more storms fire here on the backside, on the west side. Second round of storms, not as potent, but those could also pose some risk for severe weather. This looks like the guy to follow here. This one ends up in western Oklahoma. It stays ahead of the line for a long time there. So we'll maybe I'll probably end up happening is chasing some of these cells up here until they peter out and then dropping south. As you can see, as they get to the northeast, they start dying. So probably be chasing these to the Oklahoma border and then drop south for another storm here, potentially, if this is how things unfold. This is just one run of the model, though, so who knows? This could be, it may not look like this, but this is just gives you some kind of idea of what might happen today. Here, let's get here. We can look at, so this is the HRRR, and we'll look at the NOM 3KM to see if it's an agreement with the HRRR. It looks like the NOM doesn't have those initial cells firing out up front, and it just sticks with the one round. So we'll just have to see. It's going to be somewhere. Either way, there's going to be strong storms today, strong tornadoes possible. So stay alert, and I'll be live streaming throughout the day.